All right, what is happening with suppressor wait times? Back in June of 2023, I did an update video talking about wait times that we are seeing for Form 1 and Form 4s. That video was one of the more popular videos on my channel for quite a while. It's kind of dropped down recently, and I've noticed that there's been a lot of changes. So if you go back and look at the comments of that video, you're going to notice a lot of people were waiting 10 months, 12 months, sometimes more than a year. We've been seeing more recently some pretty crazy changes where people are getting suppressors sometimes as quick as a couple days. So let's talk a little bit about those changes and what we might be able to expect coming forward. So first off, I'm going to share some screenshots from Silencer Shop. On their social media, they like to post approval times. And so I don't know if this is a representative portion or if they like to just mainly show the fastest approvals, but if you look, I screenshotted some back in January and we were getting waits in the several month range, and then when you get up into March, sometimes they're down to a week or two or even just a couple days. And that's pretty impressive after the waits that we were seeing over the last several years. So for a little bit of history, when eForm came around, instead of having to mail in your paper forms, you're supposed to be able to just fill it out online and have it theoretically approved a lot quicker. Well, when eForm came out, we had some fairly quick approvals. I posted a video with a 99-day Form 4 for a suppressor. I also had a couple SBRs that were approved around 30 days when that first came around. But then the wait started to slow down, slower and slower, until we were back in that 10-month to 12-month range. So what has been happening? Part of it is the ATF has claimed that they, with some new leadership and some new processes, are really aiming to try to bring those times down. Now, we've heard that before with the eForm, so we'll see how that works long term, but they're saying that they are really aiming to lower those wait times. So part of that increase is just from what they say is deliberate work towards moving those approvals through faster. So one, that is a goal. Next, let's look at a couple of the specific tools that they're employing to try to get that done a little faster. Generally, some of those faster wait times have been more geared towards individuals. Those individual applications have started to see those decreases earlier than the trusts, and now they're starting to focus more on the trust applications. One of the ways they're doing that is what they're calling trust bundling. So one of the things that they're trying to do is if you submit multiple applications with a simple trust, so let's say even if one was 6 months ago and now you submit another one within the last couple days, what they will do is they'll process those together. It costs them a certain amount of money to run the background check through the FBI, so they will take those two applications or multiples, if there's 3 or 4 or 6 or 10, they will take those, and when they run that background check, they'll batch them together and approve them together. Theoretically, that should allow multiple applications that are currently in the system to be approved in a batch. Another thing that they are trying to work on is what they call standardized trust approval. Trust from Silencer Shop or some of these bigger companies that have standardized wording that's basically the same for everybody. You just plug and play your personal information into it. If that has been previously approved as a trust, that they are okay with the wording, they're not going to go back and reread it each time, or at least not to the same extent. They're going to be able to go through, recognize that it's a standardized trust, and they're just going to double check your information and proceed with that information, not reviewing the entire thing. Theoretically helping to improve the overall time it takes to get through those trust applications. That trust applications may be slightly longer than individual applications because there is that additional information of the trust, not just the background information for one person. Some of the additional information that I've seen says that some of the processors like Silencer Shop, Silencer Central, some of these companies that help you go through the process and they handle a lot of applications has also allowed those wait times to go down. There aren't as many clerical errors, making it a little easier to get those through. They're not having to be sent back for correction. In addition to those social media times, what are we seeing overall? According to the ATF website, the current average is for Form 1s, a paper form is 57 days and an eForm is 32 days. That's back around what I saw when I initially applied with eForm when they were brand new. For Form 4s for a trust, paper's taking about 283 days and eForm's 196. So that eForm trust is coming down. but it's still a little higher than some of the times that we're seeing. Form 4 for an individual, they're saying papers at about 280 days, and the eForm is down to 89 days. Now again, that's an average, so some of them are going to take longer, either because they've been in the queue longer, or we also don't know how many in there that they're counting had issues that had to be corrected. If we look at silencer shops data, their wait ranges are a little bit misleading because that has a little bit of everything. So they're saying 1 day through 6 months for the eForm, trust, or individual. So that's not that helpful. But if you look at the median wait, that's where you get a little bit better information. They're saying Form 4 for a trust is still up at 134 days. But for an individual, it's down to 5 days, which means they're seeing enough of those fast approvals that the median wait has dropped down only to 5 days. We'll also throw up some of the info from National Gun Trust. They're showing for their Form 1s, wait times between 31 and 281 days, depending on exactly whether it was an individual or a trust. On eForm or Form 1, with eForm being significantly quicker. If we look at their Form 4s, again, the eForms are on average slightly quicker, but you don't see that quite the same numbers. They're basically between 168 and 241 days. So based on the information that they're providing, we're still kind of waiting to see those numbers come down. So what does that mean for you? I think at least for right now, we are seeing a drop in those wait times. We don't know for sure if that's going to last or not. I'm a big proponent. If you want to get a suppressor or a short-barreled rifle, get it started. Because whether that wait is 2 days or a year, if you don't get it started, you're never actually going to get that. I've talked to a lot of people that have hemmed and hawed and put off buying a suppressor because of the wait time. And the next thing you know, a couple years have gone by and they still haven't purchased it, and they would have had one in their hands, 2 years ago because they've been thinking about it for 3. So if you're thinking about it, go ahead and do it. You might actually get lucky right now and have it approved in just a couple days to a couple weeks, or maybe you have to wait a little longer. But if you're on the fence or if you're thinking of doing it, go ahead and I would say try it. Let me know in the comments below what you're seeing for wait times. I'm guessing some of you probably still have items pending that are still waiting, but if you've gotten some of those fast approvals, let us know down below. Was it a Form 1 or a Form 4, individual or trust? Let's see some of that information and get an idea what other people are seeing. Thanks for watching. If there's any other similar content that you want to see, also let me know in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. Thanks.